When Canelo Alvarez parted ways with Golden Boy Promotion in 2020, he had multiple options. Everyone wanted to claim the right to call themselves the face of boxing, but the Mexican champion used Al Haymon's PBC and Eddie Hearn's Matchroom for brief deals, eventually settling with the PBC. But that didn't last long, as the two split paths soon. So what happened between them? The super middleweight champion had a mixed relationship with the PBC, with the two differing in the names of the opponents and the payouts. Both envisioned a different path for their profits. However, before it all crumbled down, let's look at what the two had agreed upon. ESPN's Salvador Rodriguez had reported that the 33-year-old champion and the PBC had agreed to a 3-fight deal. While the exact figures were not revealed, the figure stood north of 100 million. In addition, the contract mentioned that Jaime Charlo was the first in line to fight with Alvarez in September 2023. The PBC had also planned to use the other Charlo twin, Jaime, to set up a revenge fight. The promotion then wanted to pit Errol Spence Jr. as the last fight of the contract to close off the contract. However, not everything went according to plan. After Alvarez handed a comprehensive defeat to Jaime Charlo, the talks of a revenge match lost their hype. No one was interested in a fight which had no allure, as the fans were still disappointed in Jaime for not putting in an effort. Moreover, Jamal's lackluster performance against Jose Benavidez Jr. only worsened the situation. Spence Jr. also jolted the PBC's hopes as he lost the bout to Terence Crawford. Thus, the 62-2 record holder and the PBC reached a loggerhead about his Cinco de Mayo opponent. Despite the promotion's inclination towards the elder of the Charlo twins, Alvarez sounded off the fight. He has pocketed $45 million for his fight with Jaime, and unless he received a similar amount, it would have been difficult for him. The fight had lost its steam and might have done poorly on PPV. The two disagreed not only on the pay, but also on the name of the next rival. After going back and forth on the probable opponent, the two decided to call it quits. The lucrative deal that was supposed to change the PBC's fortune lived short, spanning only one fight. While the boxing world was still reeling from the effects of such a drastic development, the news of Alvarez defending his undisputed 168-pound division crown against Jaime Munguia, 43-0, 34 KOs, seized the headlines. How did it happen? Alvarez tried to negotiate a deal with Matchroom and DAZN and looked to rope in Edgar Berlanga for his May 4th clash. During negotiations, the Guadalajara native and the PBC struck a new one-fight deal. The deal ensured he gets a guaranteed purse of over $35 million for his Cinco de Mayo fight. As the PBC has switched to Amazon Prime after the demise of Showtime Boxing, fans can watch Alvarez versus Munguia on Prime. However, the fight is not exclusive to Prime. The fans can also access the fight on DAZN, which is in partnership with Oscar de la Hoya's Golden Boy and ppv.com. Amusingly, Canelo Promotions is promoting the event at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Golden Boy Promotions will co-promote Munguia, who is under obligation with them. It remains to be seen whether the ruckus and chaos caused by Alvarez's attempt to bag a lucrative fight will prove worthwhile. The boxing world had barely begun to recover from the online feud between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Gervonta Davis, now Abdul Wahid, when it found itself confronted with another dispute involving a boxer and his former promoter, locked in a bitter confrontation. Oscar de la Hoya and Canelo Alvarez had to be prevented from going at each other's throats during the press conference for Saturday's fight between Alvarez and Jaime Munguia. Why? After years together, De La Hoya and Alvarez went their separate ways in 2020. The latter even filed a lawsuit against the Olympic gold medalist and promoter. The terms between the two never improved thereafter. Perhaps all the pent-up emotions were simply awaiting the right moment for release. The opportunity cropped up following Alvarez's comments. Oscar de la Hoya, during his speech, mentioned the super middleweight champion failing 2 drug tests back in 2018. The reference seemingly irked Alvarez, who got up from his seat and walked towards De La Hoya. Thankfully, security stepped in, preventing the situation from escalating.
Tú no escribes nada, cabrón, tú no haces nada. O sea, tú no haces nada. Yo lo escribí. Eres un pendejo, eso es lo que eres.
A few big names joined fans and followers in sharing their thoughts and views as the footage of the incident went viral. Oscar de la Hoya appreciated Canelo Alvarez's prowess as a boxer, but he added, However, I would be remiss if I didn't respond to the man I used to promote, reminding how it was the golden boy who took Alvarez to the world stage. The former world champion said that sadly, he had been busy dishonoring him for some time. He should have rather focused on promoting the May 4 fight, De La Hoya lamented. Admittedly, he went through some low points in life, but that doesn't change the fact that Golden Boy built Canelo Alvarez, period. The company you fought under for decades has always had one name, and it's mine, so put some f***ing respect on it, said Oscar De La Hoya. Then he called to mind how a young 21-year-old Jaime Munguia pitched in to fight Gennady Golovkin when Canelo Alvarez tested positive in 2 drug tests. Streams of comments have been flowing in, some flayed the golden boy. However, a few took up the cudgels to show some support as well. For instance, David Benavides, who has his own beef to cut with Alvarez, believes that Oscar De La Hoya deserves more recognition and appreciation. But Leonard Ellerbe seems to differ diametrically. A user who followed the Mayweather Promotions CEO highlighted the parallel spat between Mayweather Jr. and Tank. They wondered where all such in-house fighting would eventually lead. They also expressed concerns over the kind of impact it would have on the sport. Then the next one felt sorry for the fighters on the Golden Boy roster. Likewise, the next follower wondered whether any fighter worth his salt would be keen enough to sign up with Oscar De La Hoya. However, this user believes that De La Hoya could be as Ellerbe described. However, that doesn't take away from the fact that the entire incident is helping the fight with some great promotion. It is the 4th title defense for Canelo Alvarez. He remains a clear favorite to win, even when many expect Munguia to give him a tough fight. Needless to say, Oscar De La Hoya would still prefer putting his money on the former light middleweight champion. In March 2018, ahead of the Golovkin rematch, Canelo Alvarez received negative test results in 2 drug tests. Found to have clenbuterol, he subsequently received a 6-month suspension backdated to February 17, 2018, the date when he failed the first drug test. Hence, his ban remained effective until August 17. That's why the rematch with Golovkin, initially scheduled for the Cinco de Mayo weekend, met with cancellation and finally occurred on September 15th. What's your take on the reactions? Do you agree with Ellerbe's scathing comments? What do you make of this coming fight between Canelo Alvarez and Jaime Munguia? Who do you think will win this all-Mexican clash? Let us know in the comments below. And there you have it, fight fans. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. Until next time, keep fighting the good fight.